Oh, hi, everyone. Welcome to our casual couch talk where we're going to be discussing Jessica Jones, the epic Netflix series, and all the various things that happened. This is just forewarning that we're going to give away major plot aspects and talk about the ending. So if you haven't seen the series or you haven't finished it, go ahead and watch that beforehand because this is going to be like a post-talk.
Totally spoilerific. So, yeah, Daredevil was the first entry in Marvel's Netflix venture, and this is the second one. And as a whole, watching this, going in, I was like, oh, this can't be as good as Daredevil. And we took our time watching it. Like, it was released in November. It's now January, and we just finished watching the last episode yesterday. So I was like, how is this gonna be as good as Daredevil? Like, people saying even better. This is literally the best thing Marvel has done. So, going through the episodes, really? Is it gonna, do that? But it ended up being really, really good. I can't, fault it. It was really intense.
Yeah,
and
what's your overall impression, Rob?
I thought it wasn't as good as Daredevil. I did enjoy it immensely, though. And David Tennant as Kilgrave is just wonderful. I know him from Doctor Who. I've watched Doctor Who for years now, so it's good to see him doing things outside of just Doctor Who. So he's probably going to be more relevant now.
Well, for those who don't know Jessica Jones, they're going to the part where she tried to be a superhero, and now she's just a PI. She has powers. They don't really go into that backstory until much later on, nearly towards the end of the season.
That seems like they're going to focus on that next season, even.
And even so, it's very, very brief glimpses.
Lightly touched upon.
Yeah, lightly touched upon. So she has super strength. She's super agility, but she uses that to be a private investigator when we first meet her. She lives in a shabby apartment. She's an alcoholic. Not really an alcoholic, but she likes to drink.
She's rough around the edges. I think it's cool because if anyone's ever seen Kristen Ritter act in Breaking Bad, I don't know if she's been in anything major before that, but I've only seen her in Jessica Jones and Breaking Bad, and I feel like she kind of plays a similar character. She has an interesting way of portraying a depth of emotion. Every character she's ever done seems like she's been through some shit. She's hardened. She's just so cool, honestly. Everything about her is just awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, she did do a good job as Jessica. The main bad guy is Kilgrave. Kilgrave is very unique. The way they presented him, his mind controls anybody who comes into contact with. He just says something and they do it. And they have a past, him and Jessica. He pretty much loves her, and he wants her back essentially. So that's where it pretty much starts off. He controls this girl, Hope. She breaks free, but then she kills her parents, and that's one of the main story arcs of the season. Jessica's trying to get Kilgrave she's trying to prove that she's innocent because of Kilgrave's mind control, and in a reality where it's that's hard to do. So
exactly. And I feel like Kilgrave made an interesting point later on in one of the last 2 episodes of the season that he said that Hope is kind of Jessica's embodiment of guilt, because Kilgrave made Jessica do a whole bunch of different things when she was under his mind control, and it seems like the story's kind of piecing together that for whatever reason she grew a little more immune to it as time went on, but she feels really guilty for all the bad things that she did, even though it's not really her fault, and then she kind of sees a bit of herself in Hope, who she tries to save, and Hope ends up going to jail, and there's just so much to the story there, but
it makes me wonder whether her immunity is because that she was with him for so long, or is it because of her powers? I don't know if we're going to run into that later on. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's going to have some sort of effect in the next season.
There's a lot of questions left unanswered in this season.
Yeah, and a different approach Marvel took to this was they didn't. There was it was a grittiness to it. There was a lot of sex in this series.
Sex, drinking,
when she met
violence.
Luke Cage. Yeah, when she met Luke Cage, which they were introduced. Luke Cage has unbreakable skin. He's one of the defenders. They have a past in the comic books. They are married and divorced, but they got their relationship off to a good start. It's a little rough patches throughout the show, but there's one episode where they just went at it for
Yeah.
3
for
scenes.
most of the episode.
Yeah.
It's not for children. Like, this is probably the only Marvel thing I've ever personally seen where I feel like, I don't know, there's just nothing for it that's for kids, really.
Yeah,
like,
not really.
every theme in this is mature. There's abortion, there's murder,
Rape.
there's rape, like, just, there's alcoholism, there's drugs.
Heavy drugs.
Like, it's very interesting, it's very compelling. I think that's what I like about it, is it's the most adult thing. It's not just cool guys doing cool things and wrapping it up. Like, the characters are flawed, they're interesting, they have a lot of backstories.
Yeah. That's why, like, still Daredevil, even though that was, like, gritty and, like, very super violent, it still can appeal to kids because he is still a superhero and in like, a costume, and kids can relate to that. I feel like they could have gone through that because she doesn't wear, like, a costume, so it's not, like, something kids can automatically gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
So it can capture, like, a different kind of audience, and it
But she
worked out.
kind of wears a costume because
Yeah.
she never showers in the entire thing, and she wears her leather jacket and these cool, like, baggy jeans every day.
Baggy.
They're kind of like,
Those are pretty tight jeans.
by a man's standards, no. In one episode at the
Um,
end, she finally changes her outfit and
yeah.
wears tight jeans, and that's it.
Going by what Christina was saying about the flawed characters, Angel, who is your favorite character of the series?
Favorite character? I don't know. I don't think maybe Luke. He's like just cool guy. I don't know. Like, I felt like I didn't really gravitate towards a lot of characters. I just enjoyed all of them and how they were portrayed, but nothing like, oh damn, like I love this character. I want to like, it's awesome.
Right. Christina?
I mean, it seems like a bit of a cop-out to say Jessica Jones, but she's definitely my favorite. I always like strong female characters, but I also like Jerry Hogarth.
Oh yeah, she's really cool too.
She's cool. She definitely going with the whole flawed thing. Like, she sets something in mind, she sets a motivation, and she goes for it, and she does it, and she doesn't take no for an answer. And I think that's cool, because, again, just to, like, hit a feminism point into the ground, but still, I just think it's cool that when you're watching something, especially something Marvel, where it's, like, you know, mostly little boys and stuff, I guess, stereotypically, that are into superheroes and everything, where a female is the lead character, she's super strong, she takes sex casually, and it's kind of like on her own terms, like nothing about it is traditional, and it's just, I don't know, they stepped out of the box.
Going off track for a second, talking about Jerry Hogarth.
Played by
Angel.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yeah.
Trinity. For all the Matrix fans out there.
Do you think, since she's technically out of her her firm, so I wonder if she's going to have any interactions with Mr. Matt Murdock?
I was hoping throughout the whole series where they were like, because she is also a lawyer, and there's also another lawyer in Hell's Kitchen. I thought that crossover was going to happen at some point, but I think they'll cross paths at some point.
Or maybe she's going to go to the lawyers that he denied, the initial ones, to make his smaller
I
business.
forget what.
Doesn't really
Goldman
matter.
Sachs or whatever.
With,
No,
with the blonde and everything.
Yeah. But no. But they're because they got at the end of Daredevil, a lot of their lawyers got like messed up because they were
they did.
involved with the ring of like crime. But I can see that going forward. So definitely a crossover. Like I can see in one of the seasons, whether it be Jessica Jones season 2 or Daredevil season 2, just one episode of Jerry and like Matt going back. But they're both on the same side technically, aren't they? Are they defenders, public defenders?
Yeah. Jerry seems to be a little more cutthroat.
I think that there's
And-
something to Jerry that wasn't explored in terms of, like, obviously she's a lawyer, she's supposed to be cutthroat, she's supposed to be really, like, hardcore, nothing soft about her, but I feel like there could be some potential evil there. I don't think she's full-on villain, but she could be one of those, like, gray type characters that we've talked
I mean,
about,
we
where
know-
I could see her going back and forth.
We know that Jerry has something to do with Iron Fist, which is going to be another new Netflix series coming up next. Or is it before or after Luke?
I think it's. I have no idea.
I think that's
I think
coming
it's-
up next, and then Luke.
I think Luke's coming up first.
But I don't know how she's.
So,
I don't know how she's
essentially-
involved with Iron
Yeah.
Fist, but in some way she's involved.
Down the
'cause
pike in a couple of years.
I'm
or
sure
so.
she'll appear somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to favorite characters, really gonna get off track. My favorite character was Kilgrave. Loved him every second.
Kilgrave's great.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was
I didn't
played
even
really
think
well.
to, like,
so
mention.
charismatic. Just David Tennant. Ugh, that's There's not much to say. He's just
like
so interesting.
Every time he was on screen and every time he controlled somebody, it was like in an interesting, different way. It wasn't just like, oh, I need you to do this. It was like the way he had people kill themselves.
Oh my goodness!
I
always different every time.
My favorite one of all of them: put a bullet in your head,
Yeah.
and she's literally trying to put a bullet in her head.
Yeah.
Like, not shoot herself, just putting it in.
Quick scenario: they have Kilgrave in this like torture chamber. He gets out because Trish, who's an idiot at some points in the show.
Dude,
Oh my
Trish
God.
ruins everything. There's always a character that ruins everything. Trish fucking ruins everything.
So she shoots his glass where like you all you have to do is hear Kilgrave and you're controlled. So he says
Be in the
pull
same
a-
air. Be in the same area.
in the same air. He says pull a bullet in your brain. She's going to shoot herself, but she ran out of bullets. In the next episode, you see her getting the bullet casing and trying to literally put it in her brain.
It's so good.
Jessica stops her.
And she put it in her mouth.
Put it in her mouth. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
It's technically in your head.
I think another thing that's cool about him too is he also seems like a great character. There was an entire episode, really more than one episode, maybe like close to 2.5, of him going through this whole elaborate process to buy Jessica Jones' childhood home, and he wanted to do everything the right way. He did kind of weirdly con the guy who originally owned her house last second into being like, okay, like, get your stuff and get out. But he did everything by the books. He wanted to own the house. He wanted to give it a fair shot. He promised not to mind control her, and he really didn't. She kind of turned on him, even though he was giving it a shot. He doesn't seem pure evil. The way he goes about things, he obviously doesn't really, like, weigh lives all that heavily. But Jessica Jones even said something about him being evil in the final episode, and he was like, evil? Like, something about him not really taking life seriously, but he was like, I don't get any joy out of it. Like, he's tortured. He's kind of like this tortured soul. He comes from a really hard childhood, and he looks like, under the right circumstances, which we saw in an episode where he literally saved somebody's life because of Jessica Jones, he would potentially do some good. He wasn't just this, like, ha ha ha, like, kill everyone at any cost. Like,
Vaudevillain.
he did things for reasons, and he, I think, kind of had good intentions.
They're good for his reasons. He has a very warped, I guess, morality.
Conscience, yeah,
sense.
definitely.
But I can see where you're coming from with that. Like, he definitely could be a good guy, but
I think that villains sometimes, though, are so flat.
I mean,
like, as a character, it's like they're just evil because they're evil, and they just only want evil things. And he really went back and forth. There were some episodes where I was rooting for him. Like, I genuinely thought it would have been cool had they turned him into a good guy somehow.
One sense where he's just like, oh, Jessica, you, like, loved me when you weren't in control. But in another sense, he just full-on raped Hope and just controlled her and had her kill her parents. So it's kind of like, depends on who it is.
Because they spent that one episode where Jessica's with him in the house, like, she's trying to teach him how to be a good guy, and you think, oh, is this guy actually gonna, like, turn to be a good guy? But then, like, she knows his true nature, and captures him. But then you find out that he was a victim of experimentation on as a child, like his own parents did some crazy experiments on it, and that's why he hates his parents.
It's like a he said, she said thing, because his parents were like, well, we were trying to cure his disease.
Mhm.
So it's just like, who do you want to believe, basically?
So that's how they got away with, he wasn't born with his powers, like mutants, you know, because they can't still technically use the term mutants.
They took a way more realistic approach to the entire season. There's nothing far-fetched that was even spoke about. We don't know how Luke Cage got his powers. We don't really know how Jessica Jones got anything.
Well,
it was hinted at, like, some, like, Hydra, you guys think
well,
was
I think it was called IDH?
IGH.
IGH?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be Season 2's main focus, or even the Defenders, because that seems to be, like, even bigger picture than that, because we got Nuke, who is Will Simpson. He ended up taking, was it two reds? You always remember this somehow.
It was 2 reds to bring them up. Okay, well, it's weird to just go right into that. I feel like you need to explain.
Yeah,
like, he started off as one of Kilgrave's victims. That's how he got introduced into the entire thing. Very innocent-seeming cop. Jessica Jones happened to snap in at the last second, trying to just intervene on whatever Kilgrave was doing and potentially capture and kill him there. She saved Simpson last minute from jumping off of a building, just walking right off the ledge. So she saved his life, and he just seemed to be infatuated with the fact that she saved his life and she didn't want anything to do with it. She was like, okay, go home, that's it. She just wanted to save his life. She didn't want to be thanked because she's just super cool. And he, like, tracked her down multiple times, and he started developing a love relationship with Trish throughout it. But then his darker side seemed to come out because he got hurt. He insisted that he went to a hospital where he was only dealt with one particular doctor that he was insisting on seeing.
Dr. Kozlov?
Yep. Of course, they're having this kind of, like, I don't know, Russian, like, Eastern European seeming versus American.
That's exactly what makes me think it's Hydra, because of that.
But he gives him these pills that seem very suspicious, specifically red, white, and blue, which goes back again to kind of, like, war-seeming, like, they mention that it's a combat-enhancing drug. He takes 2 red pills to bring him up, 1 white pill to keep him steady. No. I'm getting this wrong. 1 red to bring him up, 2 whites to keep him steady, 1 blue to bring him down.
Okay.
It specifically had to be in that order, and it was even made known in a later episode when Trish ended up taking one of his pills that you need a blue to bring you down, otherwise your brain forgets to tell your lungs how to breathe. It was this whole thing where Trish nearly died.
But Simpson went full-on psycho.
Anyway, so he's got some issues, and of course Trish freaking ruining everything. Out of everyone that she could have a love interest with has to be Crazy Simpson, that's now out to potentially try and kill Jessica in some strange way.
Yeah, because he had he was dead set on killing Kilgrave. Like, he had to kill him. There was no justice in it. It was just, you can't bring him in through the system. He even kills a cop in the process, just to, like, erase all ties, just because he's going in for, like, a hit, pretty much. So when he gets to Jessica, because he needs to kill her in her mind, that's when Trish, like, takes the red pill and beats his ass. Throughout the episodes, you see Trish learning martial arts to keep her safe. She has, like, a safe room in her hotel, in her apartment, a panic room, and then she gets, like, the knockdown on Simpson. They never call him Nuke, but I just want to call him Nuke because that's what we found out his name was.
Do you think they actually will?
Maybe in the second season. But, like, he gets carted off by his, like, cronies, so he's still alive. So he's definitely gonna be a major part.
There's gonna be something
in
with him.
Season 2.
And you know, what I was just thinking too is, like, if you look at all the characters in this season that were responsible for killing a lot of people, you could honestly say that, like, Simpson's character is the least moderate. Like, he's the most extreme and kind of, like, the most to be feared, because Kilgrave has feelings for Jessica and can be, you know, changed in some way. He's dead, but you always kind of think with these sorts of fictional things, there could be some wacky thing that brings him back. If Hydra is involved, just say, or this Dr. Kozlov, maybe he has some wacky way of, oh, I got him just in time before his heart fully stopped, and I put this vaccination into his neck, and now he's breathing. You never know. Like, he could be back, and I don't know. The fact that Jessica Jones killed him will obviously taint him a little bit, I think, but Simpson's character was dead set, on a track, was gonna kill everyone in his path, didn't give a damn. He wanted to kill Kilgrave. He killed everybody that got in his way and tried to, even Trish, almost, that he, like, loved.
Yeah.
And Kilgrave, as crazy as he is, did a lot of times avoided harming Jessica when he could have, or killing her. Because in the end, he loved her. Even until his last breath, he was still like, oh my god, like, hoping that she would, like, pivot and suddenly be genuine and, like, love him. It was insane, his devotion to her.
And even Hope thought, like, Jessica couldn't kill Kilgrave because she ended up killing herself when she got out of jail, which I didn't think was going to happen, because, like, a lot of the story, a lot of the season itself was building on Jessica getting Hope out of jail for killing her parents. So when that moment happened, I'm like, there's still, at this point, like, 2-3 episodes left. It's like, where do you go from that? Was, like, pretty much the point of the whole season. Like, I don't know, like, it kind of deflated a little bit for me after that. It's like, this is why you were doing all this, and now it's just like, you gotta stop the bad guy now.
Yeah. I have to say it was a little anticlimactic. It was shocking. Like, I didn't think that Hope was going to just randomly stab herself with the stem of a wine glass.
I mean, we kind of needed a death of, like, a more mean character, because Jerry didn't die, her wife did, Jessica obviously didn't die. Luke Cage didn't die. So
Well, he got pretty
you
messed
gotta,
up. Yeah.
You gotta have somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be the.
Someone's got to be the vigilante. That
At one
like,
point,
goes.
Kilgrave controls Luke Cage because he tried to kill him, but then he controlled him, and it's like, oh, you're Jessica's lover now, so action.
Interesting showdown
Yeah,
between
interesting.
him and Jessica.
So they were in a club, and they fight each other. She doesn't want to, she's hesitant. She takes a shotgun to his cranium. Even though he has unbreakable skin, I guess the concussion messed up his like internal organs, whatever.
Kind of shows the extent of his powers in this.
Yes,
so.
like they're totally not OP in this. You would think like, oh, unbreakable skin. How do you like? Why is he not like on Avenger level? Like this is why he still can get pretty messed up. So they bring him to a hospital, and who is there? Claire from Daredevil, Miss Rosario Dawson, the real MVP, because she's dealing with all these like superhero freaks now.
She's just the live-in nurse for
Yeah.
anyone that has like powers.
She's gonna get fired from her
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
She
I don't
should.
know how she
Worst
has a
nurse
job.
ever.
She just like constantly calls out. They were like, "Oh, come in when you can." Like, what? This is happening frequently.
Maybe she's that good of a nurse.
That they
I
just.
guess.
They're like, yeah, you can go. But
I mean,
do whatever you
she
want.
did put like that needle in his eyeball just to drain the liquid,
Ugh,
like
God.
when no needles were gonna.
Penetrate
Yeah.
the skin. Another thing that was cool too, like looking at Jessica Jones versus Luke Cage, is kind of seeing if it came down to it and they had to like kind of battle one another. Like you guys were curious who would win in that fight, like to see how Marvel played out both of their characters.
Yeah.
And ultimately Jessica Jones won. So having a woman win against a man, like that's kind of cool.
I mean, she
Usually men are OP.
may have been holding back, so she may have been able to like whoop his ass even more than we even know because she, I guess, loves him or something of that matter.
I would
We
say,
don't
like,
really know
strong
yet.
feelings for.
She had to stop him. Like, she had
Yeah.
to do that shotgun move because, really, if you think about it, that makes him interesting as, like, a superhero because just say there are no guns involved, like, how would she have stopped him?
Yeah.
There's no way to penetrate his skin. He's freaking just as strong. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I guess a strong concussive like force. That's what you really need. But and the nice thing too about it is they didn't really cram the expanded universe down our throats. Just the same way Daredevil did. Like you hear glimpses about like the alien attack on the first Avenger movie. This one, the only one that was shared universe was Claire. When she mentioned like, oh, I know somebody, essentially like, do you need me to help? Like, call him, which I got hyped. You guys like, oh my god, Daredevil. But
When he would pop in last
but
minute.
it made sense if like this is Jessica's story, she needs to finish it. Like it would kind of dwindle her success if like another guy came in just to help him for no reason.
Whoops! Our camera ran out of memory because of that one time where we talked for an hour about Star Wars and we didn't think that it was going to take that long, and we never took it off the camera. So, getting back to our point about shared universe.
Like I was saying, shared universe, they didn't really cram it down our throats. They mentioned the Avengers, but not by name. You were going to allude to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like even early on, they kind of made it established that this is Jessica Jones' story, and this is a story that hasn't really been highlighted with all the movies and everything else. They briefly touched upon how, like, if they wanted to get Kilgrave, I think Luke Cage said, like, oh, why don't we, like, get any of our friends help? And she was like, oh, that angry green guy and the flag waver? And we were like, oh, like, that's Hulk and Captain America to them? Like, they don't even bother to mention them by name, and they don't need to. You don't need Captain America or Hulk to enhance the story. It's good as it is.
Which, like...
Which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
Because Hulk and Captain America would make anything really freaking cool.
And then, like, it forces you to, like, kind of fill in, like, the what-if scenarios. Like, what if Kilgrave was in the same room as Captain America? Would he be able to, like, mind control him? Like, Tony Stark, like, what if he got control of the
Like,
Hulk?
through the suit,
Oh my
would it
God.
work? Like, there's
Like,
so many things.
Controlling the Hulk. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
What if Luke Cage fought, like, Captain America, like, with his unbreakable skin, with adamantium, well, shield, vibranium? So it's, like, that's the great thing about comic books in general. When they don't cross over that much, you kind of, like, get those scenarios in your head. It's like, oh man, that'll be awesome. Like even now, we know the Defenders are a thing that's gonna happen. So it's like, what if Luke Cage fought Daredevil? Like who would win? Like Daredevil has the agility, has the like senses, but he has unbreakable skin. So it's like interesting to see that. But to end the Jessica Jones story arc in this, to me, at the final episode when she finally gets Kilgrave like on a pier, she has him by the neck and just snaps his neck. I thought, to me, the payoff wasn't that great and that grand. It's like, oh, just a snap neck. Like, it makes sense in storyline because she still wants to pin all this stuff on Kilgrave to kind of get her like away from this, and I think that's good in the story writing too. That
the way that Jerry Hogarth was like, oh wait, well he wanted her to do it. He wanted to kill himself because he was so guilty for that. Like the way that they wrapped it up, that it would legally actually make sense in court, is pretty cool. But and I agree.
And like I guess that's also a mark of how well Kilgrave's character was written. That through all this, you want him to like get each limb like pulled off, like, but it doesn't happen. Like, he's just a simple like neck break. So like that's kudos to the story writing to make you want it, and the payoff to like kind of hold back to like serve the story and not like us as a viewer, I guess.
If you think about it too, it almost, as much as maybe it's not what we wanted as viewers, in terms of the writing, it might kind of make sense, because we had Hope's violent, gory death out of nowhere, very dramatic, stabbing herself. More dramatic than that even was Wendy's death, where Jerry literally... Wendy's death, because Jerry was attacked with 1,000 cuts, because she made this kind of like tongue-in-cheek comment to Kilgrave, how like, oh, like, how do you justify death by 1,000 cuts? And Kilgrave was like, you want death by 1,000 cuts? Do it. And started attacking Jerry, and then, you know, Jessica and Pam walked in, and Pam inadvertently killed Wendy. That was so dramatic, and was kind of every bit of like romantic tension to its height, and then like a lot of violence, that in a way it kind of balances out that like Kilgrave seemed so mighty, and like you wanted all these horrible things to happen to him because look at the bodies like slain in his wake, but in the end, just a simple dude. Really, all he has is his mouth, and Jessica Jones just snapped his neck, and like that, he's done. When it comes down to it, she can overpower him pretty easily. It was just all about her being able to overcome hearing him and having the right opportunity.
Trials and tribulations of Kilgrave, you know.
Yeah.
Rob, did you like the ending of the show?
I thought it was okay. I don't think it could have been anything else, quite honestly. Like, what else could have possibly happened? Like,
do you kind of wish it was just more grandiose? Like, do you think it was a little weak that, you know, that's all it took to get rid of
it was a little anticlimactic, but I don't think it could have been anything else other than that. Because, I mean, what else is she going to do to him? Like, that's pretty much her thing. Super strength. She's going to break his neck. It's done.
I mean, I guess.
And she doesn't have Hope to worry about anymore, so just go for it.
I think the setting, too, kind of is what I guess made me and Angel feel like there could have been more. They're on a pier. Could have been something dramatic. They take it to a boat where all of a sudden, like, someone's going to drown. They're going to go on this death cruise. Like, it could have been very crazy.
All these people he controlled at that time where it's there, they could have just, like, a mob mentality, just, like, beat him to death or something. Like, it could have been much, like, different. But it is what it is. But it's still great, like, overall. It doesn't take away from the story, like, the whole season. So...
It makes you think, too, like, maybe there was a little more thought to it on Jessica's part of, I can't make this too messy, like, as much as her hate is bottling up inside of her. Because when it all came down to it, she wanted to not go to jail for all of the deaths. She didn't want any of this pinned on her. She wants to still be able to walk freely.
Yeah.
So she needs the legal help of Jerry, which brings Jerry back into the story, because it could have potentially just been exiled. It's like, wow, piece of shit, out of here. But no, she needs her. So... I don't know, maybe she put thought into, like, how she had to make it work at the end.
So, yeah. And it, as any good TV show does, it leads little breadcrumbs for the next season. Like, Luke is gone. He's venturing his lonely path somewhere. Jerry is still being a firm-ass lawyer. Jessica is now, like, super private. Malcolm is now, I guess, her unofficial secretary. He's taking his calls.
The Weeknd.
I call him the Weeknd because he had the same haircut. Some druggy guy that was important to the story at some point.
I have the feeling that there's also, maybe it's just me being hopeful, but like I think it would be cool if there's more to his story. Maybe he secretly has some powers. I mean, we were looking at how many episodes the characters have been involved in. Malcolm literally was only not in one episode. Like, he was the most involved character in the series after Jessica Jones. I don't think that's by accident. I think that he was supposed to leave a lasting impression and not just be the neighbor. So, we'll see. I'm predicting.
Yeah. So this leads us up to the next Marvel thing on Netflix is Daredevil Season 2. I don't know how much Jessica Jones is going to influence Season 2, because we know we have Punisher, we know we have Elektra, we don't know the fate of Kingpin. So after that, I don't know when the Defenders are. So let's say Jessica Jones Season 2 comes before the Defenders. What do you think the second season is going? You said the IGH thing, but like...
Definitely the IGH thing. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things it could be. I don't know any other Jessica Jones villains. I've never really... I don't know anything about it.
They could just make Simpson the main villain of the next series. I think there's plenty to go on with him.
One other thing they could do, possibly, since, I mean, Civil War's coming, they could involve that in some way.
The Registration Act.
Yeah, the Superhuman Registration Act. I don't know. I don't think they're doing that exactly, but definitely could be something.
I mean, if anyone would take a more, like, offbeat side to that, it would be Jessica Jones and potentially Luke Cage. Like, I could see them having a very interesting, like, not taking either side and their own path, because Jessica Jones gives no fucks. I don't think that she would feel the need to... She made fun of Captain America and the Hulk. Like, I don't think she would feel the need.
Yeah. We were discussing if we thought Kilgrave was dead. I think he's dead. I don't think they are going to bring him back. I don't think they should bring him back, because his story arc was enough. It was like... Like,
just let him lie.
Yeah, like, where do you go from here? He's literally done everything he could do, and to do it again would just be a repeat of the same scenarios, and I don't think that would be entertaining at all. Like, it's kind of like why Two-Face shouldn't have been brought back in the third Dark Knight. Like, that little few minutes was like all you need. If you have a story arc of a character and that's all you put in as much as you can, then just let it lie if he dies or not. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think I could see him coming back potentially. I think that he could come back even somehow stronger and creepier and crazed and more into Jessica, like, just even more, like, taking it just that next extra step, doing something way worse. I could see also something crazy happening, just say some odd scenario where it could be Kilgrave and Jessica versus Simpson and Trish in some way. Like, you know, like odd lovers against one another.
She's like, I really like those red pills. Those are really, really good.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't think that would be a lasting thing, but who knows? Maybe it could be some product of Kilgrave's mind control, and it could be like an episode's worth. I think they could get a little more out of him. Nothing crazy, not a full season worth, but I'm going to say that he's not permanently dead, just in case.
I don't think he's going to come back, but, I mean, you never know. It could happen, but... I mean, what is he going to do to get more powerful? Have more, like, stem cells made for him? Like, have another baby? Like, that was the whole thing.
I'm saying Kozlov, because Kozlov was mentioned,
true.
There's a link between Kilgrave and Simpson that wasn't fully explored, so I'm going to say that that's going to be the reason.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, so.
Especially with the uncertainties of the
What do you think?
IGH.
Anyone watching this video, you have an opinion. You leave a comment down below. Who do you agree with? Are you smart to agree with me? Or do you agree with them? I'm not smart when it comes to Marvel stuff. I barely know anything, so I'm really just making it up as I go along. They're probably 100% right, but I'm just going to be the devil's advocate and say no.
Oh, it's good to be devil's advocate. Luke Cage is definitely going to be, when his season comes around, Jessica's probably going to be at least like a few episodes of his too. Like, they're probably going to get married and divorced within 2 episodes, because that's the relationship they have. I think Kingpin is probably going to be involved in something, because he's too much of a good bad guy to leave just like settled, just like in jail or anything like that. He might be... I'm guessing he's going to be like a main bad guy in the Defenders. Defenders, if you don't know, because we just keep referring to them, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. I'm guessing that's what they're doing. All the Netflix people, whoever has a Netflix show, they're gonna have their own series.
The slightly
too.
lower tier Avengers.
Yeah, but a lot more heart and stuff. So, so overall, I give Jessica Jones like a 9 out of 10. It was really good.
It's my favorite Marvel thing ever, I think. I really like Ant-Man, but I think I like Jessica Jones more. So I'm gonna say I give it a 10.
You're going out of like all Marvel things, so that's rough.
Well, you don't have to. It's just like what you personally feel.
Just the impression. that
Going
left on
by
me,
the
I really
TV shows
like it.
alone, I still like Daredevil a little more.
Yeah, I still think Daredevil.
But it was still very, very, very good. Going through all Marvel things, I don't think it's my favorite. Cap 2 still got that special place.
You've got that bias for Cap, though.
Yeah, but Cap 2 is like amazing.
How do you
And-
rank Jessica Jones amongst all Marvel things that you've seen?
Marvel properties. This is like all the live action stuff, like all the movies. So that's
And not only that, but like going by Cap 2, Hydra encompasses like everything. So that could be the whole IGH thing.
Let us know on social media. Hashtag Team Jessica. Hashtag Team Daredevil.
Hashtag
you've
Team
seen-
Cap.
Or, yeah, whichever Marvel thing is your fave. Make it known.
little bit of fantasy booking here. If by Infinity War Part 1 or 2, if these guys don't have a freaking cameo in like one part of it, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Like, Infinity War is all hands on deck, so anything Marvel related, they have to show up in some capacity.
I think they already have way too many people. There's too many people.
No, you know what happens? Alright, so Thanos is coming to Earth, maybe, I'm assuming. He needs like a little armada of aliens, kind of like how the alien invasion, the Chitauri might be coming back. So the Chitauri come back for round 2 with New York, and then you have Daredevil and Luke Cage just be like, oh, you want to throw it down? Let's go. You know, and Daredevil would be like, oh, I can't see you, but I can see you. So
I can't see you, but I can see you.
Like,
But I dare you to puncture me!
So, but, yeah, that's where I'm hoping. We just gotta stay alive till the Infinity War. I don't care.
Stay alive.
Just stay alive.
Whenever
the
that
alien
comes
invasion
into
might come in,
theaters.
just like Chitauri. But, yes. So there you have it. A review for Jessica Jones, our talking discussion thingy, whatever.
Hope you liked it.
Like she
Subscribe.
said, subscribe.
Like it.
Let us know. Comment. And we're gonna.
We're
have
not
some
good at
more
the
stuff.
outro thing.
No, we're terrible.
We're
at this.
trying.
So yeah, bye.
Good night.
Bye!